Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of BTTH the Flame Emperor episode number 2 based on novel. So let's start. In the wide stone gate, several figures stand in it. The real Fenju. All Xiao Yan's achievements in Dochi continent are inseparable from Fenju's cultivation technique. Although it is inseparable from his own efforts and perseverance, who can say that there is no Fenju such as heaven and hell? The credit. Miss. Master, please enlighten me. Although Xiao Yan still didn't know what the master's so-called real Fenju was, he was in this unfamiliar new continent. Only strength is the best guarantee, and since he has to resurrect his ancestors to find his clan and his lover, strength is the most important thing, so Xiao Yang agreed without thinking. Boom boom boom. Xiao Yang saw that there was a mysterious scroll in Tuorsha Gudi's hand suddenly for no reason. Through the scroll, Xiao Yang felt the strange fire in his body, and even the things deeper in his body became more restless. All of this seems to be caused by the scroll in front of him. Master, this is this. Xiao Yang asked while holding back the strong shock in his heart, thinking that his master Tuorsha Gudi would definitely not harm him. This is the real burning judgment. Tuorsha Gudi said plainly. The real Fenju? At this time, Xiao Yang's heart was extremely shocked. When he was still in the Dochi continent, a trace of his soul left behind in the Dochi continent said that he was able to achieve this achievement because of Fenju, and Tuoshi Gud had said before in Dochi continent that even if he was I don't know who created the burning Ju. Now Emperor Tuorsha is taking out another scroll called Burning Ju. How could Xiao Yang not be surprised? No wonder the strange fire in my body is so restless. No, it should be the Fenju in the deepest part of my body to be more accurate. At this moment, Xiao Yang felt that the Fenju in his body had seen it. When I saw the Fenju in the hands of the ancient Emperor Tuorshi, I felt that the Fenju I cultivated was like a broken map, and the master seemed to have the most complete one. Does it feel incredible? Ancient Emperor Tuorsha stared at Xiao Yang with a smile, as if the latter's every move and even the thoughts in his heart were all seen by the ancient Emperor Tuorsha. The trace of soul left in Dochi continent was left when I was just promoted to Do Emperor. You only inherited my flame power, but did not inherit this complete cultivation technique. After 10,000 years, the memory of the clone and the cognition is only retained before I was promoted to Do D, and because it has been too long, I know relatively few things. I am now, but I am the most complete soul force left in this world before I fell asleep. Ancient Emperor Tuorsha said slowly to Xiao Yang. What Emperor Tuorsha said was so clear, Xiao Yang understood it all at this time. Why did the ancient Tuorsha look like he was hesitant to speak when he accepted the inheritance in the Tuorsha ancient Emperor cave mansion? It turned out that his memory was incomplete. The trace of the soul avatar of the ancient Emperor Tuorsha in the ancient Emperor's cave on the Dochi continent only recorded the memory of the ancient Emperor Tuorsha himself on the Dochi continent, so he didn't reveal too much to Xiao Yang at that time, because there was no way to talk about it. After all, the memory is incomplete and there is no way to talk about it without the memory of the new world. After that, the ancient Emperor Tuorsha broke through the Duki continent and entered a new plane. All memories were not retained on the soul avatar of the Duki continent. The ancient Tuorsha in front of him was left by the ancient Tuorsha who experienced the new continent. Know a lot of unknown secret. Okay, hurry up, come over and feel the burning decision in my hand carefully. Ancient Emperor Tuorsha looked at the disciple in front of him with a smile. The information returned from the soul power on the Dochi continent was very optimistic about this inheritance. Xiao Yang, the disciple who took up his mantle, nodded towards him quite satisfied. Staring blankly at the illusory black scroll in the hands of Emperor Tuorsha Gu, Xiao Yang licked his tongue and said with a smile, although I don't know what will happen in the future, I really have a fate with you. After speaking, Xiao Yang raised a bright smile on his delicate face. Without hesitation, he took the black scroll in the slightly moved eyes of Emperor Tuorsha. Just as the palm touched the scroll, a fiery burning sensation came from the palm. Huh! Xiao Yang looked at the ancient Emperor Tuorsha in confusion. Although Xiao Yang had already devoured several kinds of strange fires, this temperature was no problem, but Xiao Yang was afraid that something would change, so he turned to look at his master. Relax, this is Fenju checking whether there is any abnormal fire in your body, because the real Fenju, abnormal fire is the basic premise of cultivation. Emperor Tuorsha obviously saw Xiao Yang's incomprehension and spoke up. Road. On the black burning Ju scroll, a small flame flew towards Xiao Yang's body at high speed. At first, Xiao Yang felt that this flame was flying around in his body, but as time passed, he felt carefully. It seems that, as his teacher said, he is checking his body. When the flames drifted into the nashi that contained the strange fire in his body, he became quiet. At this moment, the secrets in his body were unreservedly made clear by this small cluster of flames. Knowing the situation, Xiao Yang was not in a hurry, and immediately sat down with his legs crossed, letting the flames probe into his body. The flames withdrew from Xiao Yang's body after a few minutes, and then the scene of Qi happened. The scroll in Xiao Yang's hand suddenly radiated a dazzling light, and an aura that made Xiao Yang pay homage to it, as if the world was overshadowed by it, burst out from the scroll, and even the ancient Emperor Tuosha and the closing the Golden Dragon King felt the breath and the corners of his eyes were a little wet. And then a message emerged in Xiao Yang's mind. This decision is called Burning Dew. It is divided into 6 realms. One is Burning Dew, burning the foundation. The second is Burning Dew, burning the soul. The third is Burning Dew, burning the body. 4 is Burning Heaven. 5 is Burning Earth. 6 is Burning God's self become the world. It is a practice created by the with all his strength, and it is the work I am most proud of. The value is immeasurable. Those who obtain this practice seek wealth and danger, a trace of heaven and a trace of hell. Hope those who are destined can get it in the event of a catastrophe. It can help the world, remember it. A long and ancient voice slowly appeared in Xiao Yang's mind. Xiao Yang's eyes stared at the void in front of him, because the so-called founder of Fen Ju had the same rune on his forehead just now, and it was the ancestral mark of his Xiao clan. I believe you have also felt the trace of ancestral marks. I can only tell you now that the founder of Fen Ju does have a deep relationship with your Xiao clan, but if you want to find your clan, you must become stronger. Looking at the end of the meditation, Emperor Tuosha asked Xiao Yang, who had just opened his eyes. I have to figure out what's going on. Xiao Yang's thoughts were full of thoughts. Before, his Xiao family's Dodi bloodline suddenly fell, and where did his people on Dodi continent go? Many unknown mysteries still need to be found by oneself. Emperor Tuosha obviously knew something, but he didn't mention Xiao Yang, so the premise of all this was to have a strong strength. Xiao Yang sighed with emotion, and Fen Ju, who was deeply imprinted in his mind, thought on his own. Indeed, the end is also a new beginning. The Dochi continent we are in can only be regarded as a lower plane. If you have enough strength, you will be promoted to these upper planes. I was also burnt to achieve the current me. I want to come from various residues. You should also know some of the founders of Fen Ju in the dialogue between you, and you should call him Shizu. Ancient Emperor Tuosha missed looking at the black scroll and bowed silently. Master, he must be the most peak existence in this great world, right? Xiao Yang from the self-created burning decision, this ***** claimed to be such words, plus his master's mouth, he could hear some clues, since his master was also the one who was burnt, the primitive god that just sounded in his mind should be the teacher of his master Tuosha Gudi. My own master. What you are really thinking is that back then I was a flame that was born between heaven and earth, and I had nothing to do with this great world. I just entered the Do Emperor continent, and I caused a lot of trouble because I didn't know the rules of this world, but I was fortunate to meet the master. If it weren't for him, I wouldn't be today. It's better that you don't know many things, and you will naturally know when the time is right. Emperor Tuosha said a few words obviously in awe, with a kind smile on his face. The moistness of the corners of his eyes could not hide his miss for his master, and then he quickly changed his mouth as if Xiao Yang had discovered it. Since you have now obtained the complete burning judgment, that has fulfilled my wish, and the teacher will have an explanation when he wakes up next time. Emperor Tuosha Gu sighed deeply. But there is one more thing that needs your help, or a mission, but it may be the best way for you to become stronger. Ancient Emperor Tuosha suddenly looked at Xiao Yang and the Golden Dragon King seriously. Master's orders must be obeyed. Master, please say it. Xiao Yang clasped his fists with both hands and respected the ancient Emperor Tuosha. You have to collect holy flames, and the more the better. Because this is related to your Xiao family's bloodline and future wars, it is inconvenient for me to tell you in detail, but Xiaojin will help you. Remember, you must not activate and use your clan pattern if your strength has not reached the level of fighting immortals. Tuosha Gudi said solemnly. Indeed, Xiao Yang felt a trace of blood from the fluctuation of Fen Ju, and what the master said seemed true. The second is my request. Have you seen the Golden Dragon King in front of you? Tuosha Gudi suddenly said with guilt, and there were obviously other flavors in his voice. Tuosha, you and my brothers, you don't have to blame yourself like this. Since it was what I decided, I have never regretted it. The Golden Dragon King said to the ancient Emperor Tuosha, even in the state of his soul, the eyes of the Golden Dragon King looking at the ancient Emperor Tuosha firmly, he did not move a bit. When our great thousand worlds retreated, if you hadn't led the Dragon Clan to support, where would there be such an old bone as me? Jinlong, you treated me like this, and it was a charge of betrayal of the whole clan. I really feel sorry for it. This time I will let you my disciple Xiao Yang atones for me. I'm really sorry for you. Ancient Emperor Tuosha's eyes were full of guilt, and there was a hint of apology in his mouth. Brother. Xiao Yang muttered to himself, it seems that there seems to be a deep relationship between the master and the Golden Dragon King, but now, although Xiao Yang is puzzled and does not ask many questions, he continues to listen to Tuosha Gudi said. Jinlong, you don't have to argue with me, listen to me, my teacher and I have planted the seal of reincarnation, and we will wake up in the next battle. The most urgent task now is you. You must first recast your body, and then go to the Dragon Clan to clear the charges, and restore your strength to the peak in order to cope with the next catastrophe. The master predicted before he fell asleep that the next time may be the final end. Good brother, it is the greatest luck to have you in this life. This time, it is my disciple to protect you. The ancient Emperor Tuosha sounded softly in Jinlong's mind. After all, nothing was said, and the brotherhood, needless to say, was in the hearts of the two of them. After comforting his good brother, Emperor Tuosha continued to talk to Xiao Yang. These two arduous tasks will be handed over to you, Xiao Yang. We believe that you will succeed. When you succeed, it will be the time for us to wake up. When that time comes, we will recreate the glory with you, and we will kill you together. Evil clan from outside the territory. Ancient Emperor Tuosha looked at Xiao Yang expectantly. This is a reward for you to be promoted to Do Emperor as a teacher. Jinlong, you should live in there and assist Xiao Yang in the future. A seemingly simple ring on his finger fell towards Xiao Yang's hand. This ring is called Emperor Flame Ring, and there is about 100 feet of space in it. There are some other medicine pills and fighting skills I have learned. There is also a space charm for first aid. When encountering an invincible enemy, quickly crush it and you can escape far away, especially that extraterritorial evil race. In addition, I also kept the soul clone in the important mission I mentioned and some secrets you want to know. When you collect the corresponding strange fire or the strength reaches the corresponding level, you will gradually know it. When you are strong enough, you can know it by touching it with your soul. Remember to keep this ring safe, Emperor Tuosha said solemnly to Xiao Yang. Look at the 100 jong space in the ring, there are many things in the medicine scroll material. Xiao Yang's heart was violently shocked. The usual space for accepting the ring is only a few feet. Generally, there are special people who are better. Only those made of special materials have a space of more than 10 feet. If this space of 100 feet is put up for auction on the mainland, what kind of scene will it be? Of course, Xiao Yang is not really stupid enough to sell it. Then Xiao Yang said solemnly, "Don't worry, master, I will definitely protect this ring." Is it an alien race? It seems that even his own master hates these people to the core. The black figure before should also be considered an alien race. The strength is really strong. Xiao Yang asked himself based on his current strength. It is impossible to beat him, but self-defense is not a problem. You are still young and have unlimited potential. My master and I both believe in you. My mission can be considered completed. This soul should dissipate. The illusory soul of Emperor Tuosha slowly turned into stars. Dispersed, with bursts of relief on his face. Respectful farewell to the master. Xiao Yang solemnly kowtowed 3 times at the place where the ancient Emperor Tuosha's soul avatar disappeared, and Jinlong looked at the disappeared soul of the ancient Emperor Tuosha, and murmured to himself, in that case. You are waiting for me, and I will also add a heavy touch to this world. After a long time, Xiao Yang, who was the first to react, clasped his fists towards Jinlong and said, "Senior, I don't know what we should do now. Fuck. I'm your master's brother, I have such a youngest and a senior, I'm called Shizu." The golden dragon soul in front of him complained to Xiao Yang. "Master. Yes, that's good." He laughed and got into the Emperor Flame Ring in Xiao Yang's hand. I believe that Tuor she also told you just now that the real Fen Ju cultivation method has been recorded in your mind. Now I will tell you that our dragon family is a giant in this world. If you have a chance in the future, you will naturally know that I have not been to the Dochi continent of your lower planes, but I heard Tuosha say that your lower planes call unusual flames different fires. Call these strange flames born between heaven and earth holy flames. The Golden Dragon King was entrenched in the ring and faced Xiao Yang. "Sheng Yang. I don't know what's the difference between it and my strange fire." Xiao Yang listened to what the Golden Dragon King said, and always felt that there was a slight difference between the two. It's really smart. Yes, there is a difference between the two. The so-called extraordinary fire is an ordinary flame, most of which do not have too high intelligence. As long as they can withstand its violent power, they can be subdued, but Holy Fire Yang is different. They have been cultivated to give birth to wisdom that is not inferior to human beings, and even the powerful sacred Yang has already established itself as a party's overlord. Xiao Yang listened to the Golden Dragon King, and couldn't help but feel a little worried. Can such a powerful holy flame still be swallowed? But it's actually not difficult to conquer them. The Golden Dragon King smiled, clearly seeing Xiao Yang's worries. The more powerful the power, the more expensive the price. It is because of the sanctions of heaven and earth that we have a chance. You know, every monster, or monster race, or a flame born from heaven and earth, has a long lifespan, but heaven and earth do not allow this kind of supernatural existence, so we made a rule that we must break through our own shackles every 100,000 years. The so-called baptism is 10 deaths and no life. Back then, when I was young and arrogant, I only realized how terrible the scourge was when I broke through a certain scourge. That time I thought it was the real death. It's me. The Golden Dragon King recalled. So it is, but the master doesn't have to blame himself too much, who is not frivolous when he is young. Xiao Yang listened to the Golden Dragon King in the ring and clearly felt the warmth spread to his fingers. The same is true of Yun Lanzonged NOVLB//in.C//om. There are 36 species on the Holy Flame list. They are scattered throughout the world. Ordinary people only know that it can be swallowed up as an assistant for refining medicine pills, but they don't know that it is the nemesis of the abominable alien race. The 36 kinds of holy flames correspond to the 36 evil races outside the territory, and the existence of each sourcefire is an existence that can completely suppress the strength of the evil race outside the territory. The war 10,000 years ago was precisely because of these holy flames in our great thousand worlds have given us tremendous help. The top 3 holy flames have all fallen into reincarnation and slumber. You know so much, and I will naturally explain it to you when you encounter it. The Golden Dragon King said solemnly. Let's go, we should go too, and take you to see this great world. The Golden Dragon King looked at Xiao Yang with a smile. How could I disobey your request, Tuorsha? Xiao Yang in front of him heard what the Golden Dragon King said. Although it was an understatement, Xiao Yang could feel the hardships of that battle. If that day really comes, I will do my best. Immediately, without being hypocritical, he strode out of the ancient cave. Dakian world? Just let me Xiao Yang come to meet you. Xiao Yang looked into the distance firmly. It's still a while from the passage from Dongfu to the New World. I think you don't know the rules of the New World. I'll tell you in detail now. The Golden Dragon King's gentle voice sounded in Xiao Yang's ears. Master, please tell me. Xiao Yang was about to ask this question, but he didn't expect Master to be so understanding. The continent we are going to is called Do-Di Continent. There are no various types of magic that are commonly seen in novels, and Do-Chi is the only main theme of the continent. On this continent, the cultivation of Do-Chi has almost reached its peak with the efforts of countless generations, and due to the continuous reproduction of Do-Chi, it has even spread to the people. Daily life has become closely related, so the importance of vindictiveness in the mainland has become irreplaceable. Because of the extreme multiplication of Do-Chi, it has also led to the differentiation of countless Do-Chi cultivation methods from this main line. The so-called hand has lengths, and the differentiated Do-Chi cultivation methods are naturally strong and weak. After summarizing the statistics, the Do-Chi continent where Xiao Yang was before divided the levels of Do-Chi Gong techniques into 4 and 12 levels from high to low, heaven, earth, Xian, Huang, and each level is divided into 3 levels, elementary, middle, and high. The new continent Do-Di continent, which has been promoted now, has added the levels of Do-Qigong to the previous foundation as immortal, saint, and god, and each level is divided into beginner, middle, high, and third. The level of the fighting Qigong technique practiced is also the key to determining the level of success in the future. For example, people who practiced intermediate-level Shen level exercises in the Do-Chi continent are naturally a bit stronger than those of the same level who practiced high-level Huang level exercises. In Do-Di continent, the distinction between strength and weakness depends on 3 conditions. First of all, the most important thing is of course your own strength. If your own strength is only at the level of a 1-star Dozun, then even if you are cultivating a rare cultivation technique at the high level of the sky, it will be difficult for you to defeat a Do Sheng who cultivates an earth-level cultivation technique. Secondly, it is the cultivation technique. For a powerhouse of the same level, if your skill level is much higher than the opponent's, then during the test, you will know all the advantages at a glance. The last one is called fighting skills. As the name suggests, this is a special skill for exerting Do-Chi. Do skills are above the Do-Chi continent and also have different levels. Generally speaking, they are also divided into 4 levels of heaven, earth, and yellow, and each level is further divided into low level, intermediate level, and advanced. On the Do-Di continent, the level division is also the 3rd level of immortal Holy Spirit, and each level is divided into 4 levels, low level, intermediate level, high level, and peak. There are countless fighting skills on the Do-Di continent, but most of the popular fighting skills that have been circulated are only around the prefecture level. If you want to acquire more advanced fighting skills, you must join a sect or a Do-Chi academy on the mainland. Of course, some of the exercises left by the predecessors who rely on adventures, or have their own matching fighting skills, such fighting skills evolved from the exercises, when combined with each other, the power is stronger. Only by relying on these 3 conditions can we judge which is stronger and which is weaker. Generally speaking, if you can have a high-level Do Qigong method, the benefits in the future will be self-evident. However, it is very difficult for ordinary people to obtain advanced Do-Chi cultivation techniques. The exercises that are circulated in ordinary classes are at most only earth-level exercises. Some relatively powerful families or small and medium-sized sects should have heaven-level cultivation methods. Above the celestial rank is the immortal rank, but perhaps only those transcendent forces and great empires can possess such profound cultivation techniques. As for the Holy Order, it hasn't appeared for hundreds of years. Theoretically speaking, if ordinary people want to obtain advanced exercises, it is basically as difficult as reaching the sky. However, nothing is absolute. The Dodi continent is vast, with thousands of ethnic groups, and the northern part of the continent. In the southern part of the continent, there are also various high-level warcraft families with extremely high IQs, and there are also the dark races famous for their strangeness and viciousness, and so on. Due to the vast territory, there are also many unknown and unknown hermits. After their lives come to an end, they are withdrawn and may hide the exercises they created in their lives somewhere, waiting for those who are destined to take them. There is a saying, if one day you fall off a cliff or a cave, don't panic, take 2 steps forward, maybe you will become a strong man. These words are not false. In the history of the mainland for nearly 1,000 years, there is no general story of becoming a strong man by relying on adventures. The consequence of this story is that it has created a large number of dreamers who wait on the edge of the cliff every day, preparing to jump off the cliff to obtain a peerless exercise. Of course, most of these people return with broken arms and broken legs. In short, Dochi continent is a continent full of miracles and miracles. Secondly, you should also know that in Dodi continent, not everyone is a strong Dodi continent. In fact, Dodi continent is the same as your Dochi continent. It takes every effort to cultivate in order to advance to a stronger realm. But Dodi continent is the upper plane after all. The spiritual energy of heaven and earth is much stronger than your lower planes, so the people here cultivate faster. Generally speaking, most of the ordinary people can reach the level of Dozun, and some talented people will reach Dosheng. As for Emperor Do, it is not a big one, only small family power, royal family, or some big sects have it. Of course there are some old monsters who are hidden from the world and willing to be powerful, but there are no absolutes in the world. Powerful families are so talented the older generation also has Dodi in charge. The currency of Dodi continent is gold, silver and copper. 100 copper is equal to 1 silver, and 100 silver is equal to 1 gold. In general, the hierarchy of Dodi Dalu is, from low to high, Dodi, Dozian, Doshen. Each rank is divided into 9 stars, from 1 star to 9 stars. Each star is divided into the early stage, middle stage, late stage and consummation. Above the 9 stars, it is the 9th turn, and 99 return to 1, before you can step into the next realm. There has always been a rumor that fights immortals, fights gods, dominates the world, reincarnations, the great 1,000 worlds. The 10th rank is the emperor, the 9th rank of the emperor is the immortal, and the one who exists is the god. Alchemist. It is divided into 1st grade emperor, 2nd grade emperor, 3rd grade emperor, and each rank is further divided into 3 grades of elixir of heaven and earth. Immortal rank 4, Immortal rank 5, Immortal rank 6, Saint rank 7, Saint rank 8, Saint rank 9, and the legendary 10th rank are divine pills, which have always been just legends, and no one has seen them at all. Soul power. The soul of the emperor is divided into ordinary, heaven, earth, entering the virtual realm, 4 levels. The Fairyland soul is divided into entry, perception, fusion. The holy realm is divided into stepping into the virtual, refined, holy. The realm is not too much excessively detailed division. Cultivation level, immortal rank, holy rank, god rank. Low level, intermediate level, high level, complete. Fighting skill level, immortal holy spirit 3 levels. Each level is divided into low level, intermediate level, high level and peak level 4. As for the level of monsters on the Dodi continent, there are 3 levels of emperor, immortal, and god, and each level is 10th level. It is rumored that monsters who break through the 10th rank of the emperor can transform into human beings to practice again. Because of the long lifespan of monsters, they can choose freely, but after the monsters break through the emperor, every rank will attract divine condemnation. A careless, serious injury, serious damage. So transforming humans can avoid this problem very well. Legend has it that Warcraft can be transformed into a humanoid and can also be promoted to the god of fighting, just don't know if it's true or not. Xiao Yang listened to the words of the Golden Dragon King. His mind was buzzing, there was too much information. Colleagues also began to look forward to this new continent. A new beginning. After speaking, he looked at the sky outside the passage with a confident smile on his lips. The endless sky and the earth, the blue sky occasionally chirps like birds and beasts, and if you look closely, a space is slightly distorted, and a young man with a thin body and a heavy back emerges from it. In the sky, who is this not Xiao Yang? Is this the Dodi continent? Sure enough, there is a lot of Emperor's origin chi. Xiao Yang also found that the Emperor's origin chi and the heaven and earth spiritual chi of Dochi continent didn't seem to be much different, so he didn't pay too much attention. Xiao Yang stood in the sky out of thin air and carefully felt this piece of Dodi continent, and found that the spiritual energy of heaven and earth on this continent was several times more powerful and abundant than the previous Dochi continent. No wonder it can be called an upper plane. Master, where are we going now? The Golden Dragon King did not stop Xiao Yang, and let him experience the atmosphere of the new continent in the sky of this new continent. Dodi continent is divided into 4 relatively independent continents, south, east, and northwest. Next, we should go to the northernmost continent, which is also the weaker continent on Dodi continent, because I have some personal affairs to deal with, and there are some things that are impressive. The existence of sacred flame has been around for so many years, I really don't know if it's okay. The Golden Dragon King pondered with nostalgia. Holy Yang. Xiao Yang's heart seemed to be burning hot again, just like when he was looking for a strange fire. Land down first, many of the skies in this continent are ruled by the state, and the sky is strictly forbidden, otherwise we will be in trouble. The voice of the Golden Dragon King came from the ring. When Xiao Yang heard the words, he was stunned, and immediately flew towards the ground. Looking at your young age, if you tell the location of the treasure pavilion, then we can let you go. Otherwise, look at your tender flesh, these brothers here will not let you go. The man with a ferocious face said to a woman in front of him who seemed to be helpless. After he finished speaking, he looked at the men who were smiling evilly behind him. I don't even know where the treasure pavilion is. I'm just a servant of the Mu family. How can I know? You should ask the people of the Mu family. The woman was obviously wronged. The man with fierce eyes, even his voice was slightly faint. Ask the Mu family? We all came from the Mu family. The head of the Mu family said before he died that you took away the blueprints of the treasure pavilion. What else do you have to say? The leading man growled. Said to the woman in front of him. If you want to kill, why do you need so many excuses for nonsense? The woman also saw that the person in front of her was just looking for so many excuses to kill herself, and there was no such thing as a treasure map. Go. First, take off all her clothes, and search for the ring. The men behind him looked at the woman in front of them with fiery eyes. Qingji's face and 3,000 blue silks were hanging down, and everyone with a small waist and white skin was watching. The same drool. It's really not as good as a beast. The young woman stroked the only decoration on her hand, which was the only thing her mother had left for her, and then her eyes became much firmer, preferring jade to be broken rather than tile. Woman's eyes. Xiao Yang, wait, go to the east of you, I feel a vaguely familiar aura looming, hurry up. The Golden Dragon King in the ring said to Xiao Yang, he could make himself feel the aura of deja vu, or it was a former enemy, or just a former friend. Obviously there will be no strong aura on the border of this continent, so the result is obviously the latter. Only then did he roar at Xiao Yang. Boom. Just when the woman was about to meet the vicious hands of everyone, when she was taking action to protect her chastity, Xiao Yang arrived in time, and Xiao Yi seemed to see that none of them were good people because of their behavior. With a bit of anger, the strange fire spread out in an instant, knocking down all the weaker ones. Maybe even Xiao Yang didn't realize that since the mysterious rune lighted up on Xiao Yi's forehead on the way to Dodi continent, she has gradually become humanized. Yi rarely speaks. Who is your excellency? This girl is our target. If you want to be a hero to save the beauty, you're looking for the wrong person. Come on, brothers. The man in the lead instantly turned gloomy and looked at Xiao Yang who was about to die in front of him with disdain. Young Xia, be careful. Their leader is a 6-star fighting saint. The woman was very grateful to Xiao Yang for saving her, but she also knew the strength of these people who were chasing her, and didn't want to involve Xiao Yang's innocent life, so she hurriedly warned her. But what the woman didn't expect was that in the blink of an eye, Xiao Yang instantly killed the few people who were still in front of her. The remaining man looked at Xiao Yang in fear and shouted for mercy. This is an elixir. If you're not afraid that I will poison you, just take it. It can relieve your wounds very well. Xiao Yang handed a healing elixir and a topical medicine to the girl who was still determined in her eyes. Looked at the blood flowing from the girl's calf and couldn't help feeling a little distressed, completely ignoring the man in front of him and a few remaining subordinates. My own first-hand brothers are also a group of fighting saints. Although they do not work very hard in their cultivation, they are under the leadership of their 6-star fighting saints to pick up some tasks every now and then to make a living. But the strange thing is that when Xiao Yang appeared in front of him, the vindictive energy in his body seemed to solidify, especially the milky white figure made him sweat cold. Thank you. After saying that, the girl did not hesitate. She picked up Xiao Yang's mobile phone and swallowed it directly. After taking the medicine, she put it on her wound, and her wound solidified within a few seconds of applying it. Now, I even feel a trace of warmth in the wound repairing my wound. This is definitely a high-level medicine pill. The young woman was shocked. Why are so many of you chasing a weak woman? Xiao Yang asked with a smile. Young master, spare your life. We homeless prodigal sons have no choice but to go to Mu's house this time to collect some money, but who would have thought that when we just went to their Mu's house would have been bloodbathed long ago. It's the same, there is a lot of smoke everywhere, even the remaining servants are not spared. We are also threatened by some mysterious people. I heard that she has a map of the treasure pavilion on her body, so. The man looked at Xiao Yang in horror. Xiao Yang also knew this. The man did not lie, because a person does not dare to lie when he is extremely frightened. Many thanks for your life-saving grace. The woman knelt down and kowtowed to Xiao Yang when she saw the situation at this time. Get up, You don't need to be so polite. Although Xiao Yang didn't know why the Golden Dragon King asked himself to save the one-star fighting saint in front of him, there must be a reason for the Golden Dragon King. Whatever you do with this person is up to you. Xiao Yang turned around and said to the woman, Ngong, let's just let him go. In fact, they have no choice but to. I didn't know who my parents were since I was born. As far back as I can remember, I only knew the ring on my hand was the only clue to find them. Anyway, the Mu family has nurturing me, maybe I am too weak now, but I will avenge the Mu family. He clenched his small fist and said resolutely, If you have anything, just say it. Xiao Yang just wanted to leave when he saw that the matter in front of him was resolved. Because of his tenderness towards the enemy, he sometimes killed himself, but he saw the woman who was extremely embarrassed and hesitating as if she had something to say. Look, Ngong, I know that you are a good person. The Mu family has been destroyed. I am helpless now. Although it is a bit presumptuous, can I accompany you? I can do laundry and cook anything. And I want to investigate this matter, but I will always follow my benefactor if I have my wish. After hesitating, he looked at Xiao Yang, the last straw of life, with anticipation. Indeed, the Mu family was destroyed. Where is there a place for yourself? The weak will be bullied, the weak will not be able to protect what they want to protect, the weak will not be able to find their biological parents. I must become stronger. The woman looked at Xiao Yang firmly, which reminded Xiao Yang of himself back then, and the woman in front of him was very similar to himself back then. This video will end here.